spending a whole lot of time on something if the council isn't going to approve it.
I agree.
So it just doesn't make any sense, the progression of these things.
Well, it was my understanding that, like I said, that something that was considered to be, basically a regular activity or an activity that had been done before didn't require council action, that you only wanted to see new actions, and then take it a step. Well, I was going to say, and also approved as part of the budget process. So that's just where I'm trying to figure out where you want to have the interjection of
Phase
council
2
event.
of the park is something that's never been done before, if you want to follow your brain.
Well, we've had a park opening before.
Yes.
So that's the point, is what I'm trying to get to. Is how do we, well, I'm trying not to. What I'm trying to get to is what are we trying to get to? That's what I'm trying to get around, is how, where do we,
What do
where do
you
we fit this in?
suggest?
Well, based on the discussions that have taken place over the last couple of days and both the process, if you see it in the budget, then I think you should make an assumption that it's going to occur or take it out of the budget. But if it's something, if you want to see information about it being developed, then we can do that because we're going to develop an event process. And so early in that process, there could be a point that says, take to council. But do you want to see all that? That's what I'm struggling with.
Just come with the idea. They might come up with an idea that they want belly dancing in the park. Bring it before council. The 3 men here might want it, but the 3 women might not. So just bring us the idea, and if we say, yeah, they say, yeah, that's great, then go ahead and spend your time learning how to belly dance. Is that specific enough? Does that make sense?
That doesn't get to question of timing, doesn't get to question to those other aspects, which seem to be the issue specific.
The budget, the budget included a park opening. I agree with that. It did include a park opening. But the date should be considered for everybody. Maybe this is middle of vacation. Maybe somebody's got vacation plans for August 29th. The council members should be able to say, that's not a good day for me. Can we do it the weekend before or the weekend after if they want to attend? This is a calendar issue. It's not the fact that if there's going to be a park opening. It's the fact that council should be a part of setting the date. You just don't.
That's a slightly different discussion. That's a discussion of making sure that for an event of that sort, that council's aware of the date either by request or that you know about it. I mean, do you want to set the date or do you want to know about it 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks out?
I think at the time the committee discusses a specific date for something, it should be reported to us at the next meeting. We are considering this day. Please check your calendars and we'll come back and clarify and confirm it next month. It's just common courtesy. I'm sorry, but it's just common courtesy.
Thank you. We can schedule everything to everybody's satisfaction. I have a grandson playing in an all-star tournament in Martinsville tonight. I'd like to have been there.
I realize that, Bob, but we weren't even given the opportunity. It was just told, this is what it's going to be. I just don't think it's proper. It's appropriate. I'm sorry.
I don't think anybody was objecting to the fact that it was a phase 2 grand opening. I think the problem was, I personally, and I said this before, I was told it was going to be in September. It would have been nice to know beforehand. It's actually not that big a deal to me, but if we're going to set policy, let's set policy.
Well, let me throw this out because, this is what we had decided at budget, that the events that were put into the budget were approved and any new events would be brought to you. So because of some problems that have been occurring where the committees haven't quite understood the policies and procedures in terms of purchasing, Michael and I have talked about, Michael drafted a committee event policy. Now, what they will do in the future, and I think this will suffice, but what they're going to do in the future is bring a plan to the town manager and actually to myself, because it's going to include the financial procedures and what they plan on doing for the event. And at that point, we should know the date, I would think. And we can then present that to you, the plan. Would that suffice? It'll have the date and their plan for the event. And then you can say, whoa, no way, there's no way we're going to agree to something like this, or you can say, great, that's what we want to have.
My objection,
I don't think I did too.
That's okay, go
You've always
ahead.
said, I'm sorry for
I'll
interrupting.
forget by the time you finish. Go ahead.
I just have to caution, it's my job, to caution council, we're getting off the printed agenda and the amended agenda. The agenda item was the discussion of the park opening date and now a policy for other items, which have now been noticed for the public.
Okay. And now I'm going to say what I'm going to say, even though it's not unusual. The whole problem is that there aren't policies to follow. And you can't hold these committees, you can't hold their feet to the fire when they don't know what the policy is. So how about you have policies and everybody will be on the same page and we won't be spending 3 hours wasting everybody's time talking about stuff.
But that's what we're doing. We are creating policy, but we're creating policy in a moving airplane. So we're building the airplane as we go. So we have an event policy that's been worked on. We have a rental agreement policy that's being worked on. We have there's the fundraising policy. I mean, all of those policies are in process. But instead of delaying things that are going on, they're coming forward and saying, can we do this? They're asking permission to do things. And that's what, I mean, the grand opening event, I think, was in the minutes before, but regardless, make a decision on that and talk about first.
Okay.
And let me just say this, we did have a purchasing policy in place, and we did have policy related to these items in place, but individuals didn't understand the process. We had a committee policy which set up a treasurer that was supposed to be responsible for the financial procedures. We had a purchasing policy which set those policies, but the committees didn't quite understand that process. And it's growing pains, because this is new to them. This is the first year we've had all of this. So it's growing pains. So the fact that we had to come up with a committee event policy was after the fact, when we realized, well, the first 2 policies didn't quite work because the committees didn't understand them. So we need something that slaps them in the face. These are the policies.
Yeah, because
Easier.
policies aren't any good if nobody knows about them. So I think that it's a matter of education.
It is, and that's what we're trying to do, and we're trying to simplify the policies into a summary format for the committees.
Not only for the committees, but for the council as well. I'd like to know what the policies are that the committees are going to be held to.
Well, you're approving it.
When?
You approve the finance policy, you approve the committee ordinances, and you approve the new ones, the purchasing policy, you approve
Well,
those.
we haven't approved all the policies.
No, because they're still being worked on.
And we realized we needed them because the policies that were in place didn't quite work the way we intended, so that's why and it's just growing pains.
Let's just get it done and get it off.
That's what we're trying to do, but there's only so much time in the day.
August the 29th, is almost, say, 43 days away. Anybody got a problem with that day?
I do actually, but that's okay. I will not be happy.
I don't have a problem with the day. I have the problem with the way it was done, which is my whole thing. It's what I've been working on for 3.5 years, is how things are done.
Well, this was in the meeting, it was in the other minutes, and it was in the budget. Do we want to go ahead with it on August 29th or not? Do we need a motion? It's in this discussion.
I think something as critical as a park grand opening should be done by motion of council, yes.
All right.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
What's your motion?
Okay.
We approve it.
And I will second it.
Okay. Have a motion approving the grand opening Summerfield Community Park Phase 2 on Saturday, August the 29th. And a second by Ms. Strickland. Further discussion? All in favor of the motion, raise your hand. Okay, unanimous. This is from the manager,
Mr. Johnson, I agree.
Park facilities rental agreement.
I realize that we covered this out of turn,